You're standing alone at a bus stop. Your dream is dead. Your wallet has just $7 inside. No job, no direction, no home to return to. You feel like a failure. You feel like nothing. What would you do? Cry quit or fight like never before? My amazing friends, today's story is not just about fame, not just about muscles or movies. It's about pain. It's about power. It's about what you do when life hits you so hard you fall flat on your face. And yes, this story might just change how you think, speak, and feel about your own journey. Welcome to Learn English with Stories 365, the place where English learning meets life-changing inspiration. Here, you don't just learn English, you live it, feel it, and grow through it. This story will help you improve your English listening, build new vocabulary, and practice real-life phrases. But more than that, it will give you strength. Today we dive into the true story of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a man known by millions. But before he was The Rock, he was a lost young man with a broken dream and just $7 to his name. So take a deep breath. Open your heart. Open your mind. This is not just a lesson. This is a journey of hope, failure, fire, and triumph. And it all begins at rock bottom. Are you ready? Let's begin. Part 1. Childhood and Early Struggles. Every strong man was once a scared boy. Every hero was once broken. Dwayne Douglas Johnson was born on May 17, 1972 in Hayward, California. His father was Rocky Johnson, a famous professional wrestler. His grandfather was also a wrestler. From the outside, it looked like Dwayne came from a strong family, maybe even a rich one. But the truth was different. His family moved often, too often. Sometimes they didn't have enough money to pay rent. Sometimes they lived in small, tiny apartments. Sometimes they didn't know if they could stay the next month. When Dwayne was just a child, he saw his parents argue about money. He saw the lights go out because they couldn't pay the bill. He saw his mother cry when they were evicted from their home in Hawaii. Can you imagine that? Standing outside with your family, your things on the street, and no place to go. Dwayne said he felt helpless. He wanted to be strong. He wanted to fix it. But he was just a boy. As he grew older, he became angry. He got into fights. He stole things from stores. At 14, he was already getting into trouble with the police. He felt like a loser. He felt like nothing. But even in those dark times, something inside him was still alive. He looked in the mirror and said to himself, "This is not who I want to be." So he started to change. He began lifting weights. He found peace in the gym. He found purpose in football. When he played, he felt powerful. He felt in control. And one more thing gave him strength: his mother. Even when life was hard, she believed in him. She told him, "You are meant for something big." Those words stayed in his heart. Dwayne moved to Pennsylvania and started a new school. He was big, he was fast, he was strong, and people noticed. Coaches saw his talent. He started dreaming about playing football at a big university. He saw a future, finally, but life was not finished testing him. This was only the beginning of his story. Because when you grow up with pain, you learn to fight. And Dwayne Johnson, he was just getting started. Keep listening, my dear learners. The most powerful part of this story is still to come. And so many English words are waiting for you too. Let's keep going. Part 2, The Football Dream. Sometimes a dream feels like your only way out. For Dwayne Johnson, that dream was football. After all the pain, the fights, the trouble, football became his hope, his escape, his reason to wake up and keep going. In high school, he trained like a beast. He woke up early, lifted heavy weights, and ran until his legs burned. He wanted to be the best. He wanted to earn a scholarship, to take the pressure off his family. He dreamed of playing for a big team in a big stadium, wearing a big jersey with his name on the back. And his hard work paid off. Dwayne was offered a full football scholarship to the University of Miami, one of the best teams in the country. It was a dream come true. Can you imagine? From almost going to jail, to walking onto a college football field as a respected athlete, he was proud. His mother was proud. He thought, "This is it. I've made it." But life had other plans. At Miami, Dwayne trained harder than ever. He gave everything, his body, his mind, his heart. But he wasn't the only one. There were other players, bigger, faster, better. And then the worst happened. Injuries. A shoulder injury. A back injury. Time off the field. Missed games, lost chances. The coaches started to look at other players. Dwayne watched from the sidelines, hurt, frustrated, forgotten. He had worked so hard. He had come so far. And now it was slipping away. But Dwayne didn't quit. He kept pushing, kept healing, kept showing up. He fought for his spot every single day. And after graduation, he still believed he had a future in football. He joined the Canadian Football League. It wasn't the NFL, but it was a start. He signed with the Calgary Stampeders. He packed his bags. He was ready to fight again. But life was about to hit even harder. After just a few months, the coach called him into the office. "We're letting you go," the coach said. Dwayne was shocked. "What do you mean?" "We're cutting you from the team." Just like that, the dream was over. No football, no team, no money. He was alone in Canada, far from home, with nothing but a broken heart and a few dollars in his pocket. He picked up the phone and called his dad. "Can you come get me?" That was the moment, the lowest point, the beginning of everything. When Dwayne got into that car, he looked in his wallet. He had just $7. That was all. He stared at the money. He felt like a failure, like his life was finished. But something deep inside whispered, "It's not over." He didn't know it yet, but that $7 would become the seed of a future no one could imagine. My friends, sometimes your biggest heartbreak becomes your greatest power. Stay with me. The next part of this story will shake your heart and build your English too. Let's go deeper. Part 3. Rock Bottom. The $7 moment. Have you ever hit rock bottom? That moment when everything falls apart and you're left with nothing. No job, no future, no hope. That was Dwayne Johnson at 23 years old. He sat quietly in the back seat of his father's car. His football dream was dead. His body was tired. His heart was broken. His wallet had exactly $7, just $7. That was all he had to show for years of hard work, pain, and sacrifice. He looked out the window, watching the road pass by. His mind was full of questions. Why did this happen? Wasn't I good enough? Is my life over? He felt ashamed. He felt like he had failed his family. He felt like he had failed himself. At home, things weren't easier. He had no job, no plan. He slept on a dirty mattress in a tiny apartment he shared with his parents. Every morning he woke up with a heavy heart. Every night he fell asleep with the same thought. I gave everything and still lost. One day he walked into his small bedroom. He looked at himself in the mirror. He said out loud, "This ends now." And then something changed. In that moment of pain, he made a decision, a powerful decision. He said, "I will never be broke again. I will never feel this low again. I will rise. I don't know how, but I will." That was the real beginning of Dwayne Johnson, not the football field, not the wrestling ring, not Hollywood. It began right there in a quiet room with a broken heart, a strong will, and $7 in his pocket. He sat down with a pen and paper and wrote one thing at the top: build a new life. He thought about his roots. His father was a professional wrestler. His grandfather was a legend in the ring. Maybe he could follow their path. But wrestling, really? People laughed. Some said, "You're not your father." Others said, "You're a failed football player." Nothing more. Even wrestling promoters didn't believe in him. They gave him a fake smile, a silly name, and told him to be what they wanted him to be. They called him Rocky Mavia. They made him smile on stage. Act nice. Be perfect. The crowd hated it. Fans booed him. They shouted, "Die, Rocky, die," during his matches. Can you imagine that you finally get a chance and everyone hates you? It hurt deeply, but Dwayne didn't quit. He didn't run away. He looked at himself again, this time not in shame, but in honesty. He said, "If I'm going to fail, I'll fail as myself, not as some fake character, not as someone else." So he changed everything. He stopped pretending. He showed the world his real self, funny, strong, bold, passionate, and powerful. He became The Rock. And something incredible happened. People started cheering. The crowd that once booed him now stood on their feet. They laughed. They screamed. They believed. Because he was real, and the boy with $7 became a star. But this was only the beginning. Dear learners, what if your lowest moment is actually your turning point? Stay with me. In the next part, The Rock rises to glory, and so will your English. Part 4. The Birth of The Rock. Sometimes you must lose everything to find your true self. Dwayne Johnson had been broken, booed, and beaten down. But now something powerful was waking up inside him. He no longer wanted to play a role. He wanted to be real. So he sat down with the WWE writers and said, "Let me speak. Let me be myself. Let me show the world who I really am." They were unsure. They didn't think fans would like him. But Dwayne didn't care anymore. He had nothing to lose. So the next time he entered the ring, he didn't smile. He didn't act. He spoke the truth. He grabbed the microphone and said, "Finally, The Rock has come back." His voice was strong. His eyes were sharp. His words were electric. The crowd stopped booing. They started listening. They started cheering. Dwayne had created something new, something powerful. The Rock. And The Rock was not just a name. It was a new identity, a new energy, a new life. He spoke with confidence. He made people laugh. He made people feel strong. He gave fans what they had never seen before. A wrestler who was a warrior, a comedian, and a poet all at once. Suddenly, every arena wanted The Rock. He became the most exciting man in wrestling. He had catchphrases that everyone repeated. "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Know your role and shut your mouth." The fans loved it. The kids loved it. Even people who didn't watch wrestling started talking about him. The Rock was everywhere. TV, radio interviews, posters, toys. He became a superstar. But behind the fame, Dwayne still remembered that $7. He remembered how it felt to be broke alone and lost. That memory kept him humble. It kept him hungry. He worked harder than ever. Training, performing, traveling, speaking, learning. He treated every match like a battle, every fan like family, and every failure like fuel. He once said, "When you walk up to opportunity's door, don't knock, kick it in. Smile and introduce yourself." That was The Rock. Strong, brave, funny, real. But wrestling was just the beginning. A new dream was growing inside him. A dream bigger than the ring, brighter than the lights. He wanted to go beyond wrestling. He wanted to become an actor. And just like before, the world was about to tell him no. But this time he knew how to rise. Stay with me, my amazing friends. The next chapter of The Rock's journey is full of challenges, lessons, and powerful English phrases that will take your learning and your life to the next level. Let's keep going. Part 5, Rising Through the Pain. Fame does not make life easier. It just gives you a bigger stage to fight on. By the early 2000s, The Rock was one of the biggest names in wrestling. He had fans all over the world. He had money, success, and fame. But deep inside, Dwayne Johnson still felt a fire. A voice whispered, "There's more. You are not finished yet." He began to dream again, this time of Hollywood. But Hollywood didn't welcome him with open arms. At first, producers saw him only as a wrestler. "He's not a real actor," they said. "He's too big, too loud, too bold." People told him to lose weight, change his look, act softer, sound familiar. Just like before, they wanted him to become someone else. But Dwayne remembered what happened the last time he tried that. He had failed. So he made a decision. I will not shrink to fit this world. I will grow until the world fits me. He started from the bottom again. Small roles, small lines. He studied acting. He practiced every day. He watched great actors read scripts, worked on his voice, his movement, his emotions. And once again people laughed. But he kept going. One of his first big roles was in The Scorpion King. People were surprised. He's better than we thought, they said. Slowly, more roles came. The run-down, walking tall gridiron gang. Each time he grew stronger, more confident, more respected. Still, the road was hard. Hollywood is full of rejection, fake smiles, and pressure. Behind the scenes, Dwayne struggled with doubt. Am I good enough? Will they ever see me for who I really am? But he kept showing up. He said, success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come, and it did. Then came the turning point. He joined the Fast and Furious franchise. His role as Hobbs made him a global star. People saw not just the muscles, but the heart, the humor, the fire, the passion. The Rock was no longer just a wrestler. He was a full actor, a leading man, a symbol of power and positivity. But he never forgot the struggle. He often talks about his past, the $7, the pain, the rejections, the depression. Yes, even The Rock battled depression. He said, I've learned that the strongest people are not the ones who show strength in front of the world, but the ones who fight battles you never see. Dwayne Johnson became a voice for hope, a face of strength, and a reminder that pain is part of the process. My dear learners, The Rock rose because he didn't let failure break him. He used it to build something greater. You can do the same. Let's continue your English. And this story are just getting stronger. Part 6. Hollywood and the Hard Road. Again, Dwayne Johnson had conquered the wrestling ring. Now he was climbing the mountain of Hollywood. But once again, the path was not smooth. When he first entered the movie, world people laughed behind closed doors. He's just a wrestler, they said. He can't act. Some critics gave him bad reviews. Some directors didn't want to hire him. At auditions, he heard the same line again and again. Sorry, you're not what we're looking for. It felt like déjà vu, but Dwayne had learned something important. Rejection is not the end. It's just another door. And if a door is closed, you knock louder. Or better yet, you build your own. He didn't quit. He didn't get bitter. He got better. He trained harder than ever, not just his body, but his mind. He learned about filmmaking. He studied other actors. He listened. He watched. He grew. Slowly things began to change. Movies like The Game Plan Tooth Fairy and Journey 2 showed his lighter, funnier side. Then came Fast 5, and everything exploded. Audiences loved him. Studios trusted him. Directors respected him. He could do action, comedy, drama, even sing in Moana. Suddenly, The Rock wasn't just in Hollywood. He was Hollywood, one of the highest-paid actors in the world. A box office giant. A brand. A name millions loved. But here's the most powerful part. Through all the fame, all the money, all the success, he never forgot the boy. With $7 in his pocket, he still wakes up early. He still trains hard. He still says thank you every day. Because he knows everything can be taken away in a moment. And what matters most is not what the world gives you, but what you give the world. Stay with me. My amazing friends. The final part of this story is not about success. It's about legacy, and it will inspire your heart and your English. Let's finish strong. Part 7, Legacy and Life Lessons. Today, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is more than a movie star. He is a leader, a role model, a symbol of strength, humility, and hope. He runs businesses, he builds gyms, he helps charities, he gives speeches around the world. But no matter how high he climbs, he always talks about where he came from. He often says, "I started with $7 in my pocket and a dream. And I'm proof that dreams can come true." If you work hard, stay hungry, and never give up, that $7 moment is still with him. In fact, he named his company $7 Productions to remind himself and the world of that lowest point. Because success is not just about money or fame, it's about purpose. It's about giving back. Dwayne shares his journey to help others. He talks openly about failure, depression, fear, and doubt. He reminds people that even the strongest fall, even heroes cry. He teaches us that real strength is not about muscles, it's about mindset. He says, be the hardest worker in the room. Stay humble, stay hungry, and those words have touched millions. People who once felt broken now believe in themselves again. Children who have nothing now dream big. English learners like you listen to his story and say, if The Rock can do it, maybe I can too. Yes, you can. Because legacy is not about what you take, it's about what you leave behind. And Dwayne Johnson has left a message written in fire. Fall, rise, repeat. Let's reflect together. My dear learners, the story is almost over, but your story is just beginning. Let's finish this journey with heart. Conclusion. So my amazing friends, let's look back. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had it all, and then lost it all. He had a dream football and it was crushed. He had a future and it disappeared. He had only $7 in his pocket. No plan, no hope, no light. But what did he do? He didn't cry forever. He didn't give up. He didn't let the world decide who he was. He stood up. He spoke to himself. He made a choice. This is not the end. This is the beginning. And from that one moment of power, everything changed. He followed a new dream. He failed again. He was booed, rejected, insulted, but he rose. He became The Rock. He became a champion. He became a Hollywood icon. And more than anything, he became an inspiration. His story teaches us something very important. Your worst day can become your best story. Your failure can become your fuel. Your weakness can become your weapon. So what about you? Maybe you're struggling with your English. Maybe you feel stuck in life. Maybe you've been told, you're not good enough. But remember this, if you're still breathing, you still have a chance. If you're still learning, you're still growing. And if the rock can rise from $7, so can you. Use his story to build your own. Repeat his words. Be the hardest worker in the room. Speak with strength. Live with purpose. Learn English with passion, because here at Learn English with Stories 365, we don't just learn words, we learn courage. We grow stronger, sentence by sentence, story by story. Now it's your turn. What part of the rock's story inspired you the most? Comment below. Share your thoughts. Practice your English. Be part of this journey. And always remember, you may have only $7 today, but with belief, effort, and time, you can build an empire. Thank you for learning with me. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep learning, and keep rising. You've got this.